Welcome back. Former spokesman Polela has parted ways with the Hawks, allegedly over the Jub Jub tweet. Polela suggested that murder-convicted hip-hop artist Molemo Jub Jub Maranye take Vaseline with him to jail, alluding, of course, to the issue of prison rape. Now, this brings the question, where should one draw the line when tweeting? If Polela tweeted in his personal capacity, could the Hawks have overreacted by firing him? Well, let's discuss this issue further. We have communications expert Clive Simpkins with us in studio. Clive, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I must just stress that there could be a number of factors for his dismissal. But if he was fired solely on the basis of his tweet, it wouldn't be the first time that someone is dismissed based on what they did on social media.
There is quite a long list of quite famous people internationally who've been dismissed or who've lost their jobs as a result of tweeting something injudicious. I think what this highlights for us is employers or even governmental organizations need to say, what is our social media policy? What would you need to say in order for us to dismiss you?
Now, I want to take a look about what you've been up to, what you've been tweeting. You've called the axing political correctness and overzealous image management taken to extremes. Yeah. Unpack that for us, please.
Bottom line is this. That tweet about the Vaseline was extremely injudicious, particularly so coming from a high-profile spokesperson for the Hawks. However, he immediately conceded on Twitter afterwards that it was very inappropriate and he apologized. Now, why would you therefore go and dismiss the person? That's the point. So I think we're trying to make some kind of statement here, and frankly, it's come from parliamentarians who sit and don't comment on things they should comment on, but now everybody's turned this into some kind of media fest. And for him to hear via the media that he's been dismissed is particularly unacceptable.
Now, some people would suggest that the move to fire Polela was necessary because it could be seen, or the tweet at least, could be seen as official word or official stance on prison rape in the country, which could affect cases like the Shireen Dubani extradition hearing. Do you think it was as serious as that?
No, I don't. I think that is an illogical extrapolation of the worst order. We are known for prison rape. Prison rape is not unique to South Africa. It is an international problem. So nobody's comment like that is going to go and exacerbate. That really is being absurd in the extreme, I believe.
This brings to the fore the ongoing debate of in my personal capacity. And you see many people in their profiles putting that these opinions expressed are my own, I'm writing in my personal capacity. Does that fly these days, especially for a public persona?
You have a brand, and if you take yourself or you take Gareth or you take anybody else, that brand is associated with eNCA News. So bottom line is what you say is associated with the brand. So one has to be very cautious. You can't have this thing of retweets don't necessarily constitute endorsement. Fact is, they do. Legally, they do. Professor Dario Milo, for example, says that you become legally liable for what you retweet. So we have to look at that. But I would love to say two things. I want to see government's policy on what people may or may not tweet. I would also like to see Polela take government to the Human Rights Commission if necessary, but certainly at least to the Labour Court or the CCMA over this.
Now, we both agree that tweet was rather distasteful. It was rather unfortunate. What should the department have done? What should the Hawks have done to try and do damage control as opposed to firing him?
What would have worked there is if somebody other than Polela then had, from the Hawks, said, we distance ourselves from this comment. It doesn't fit with our policy. It is inappropriate. He's accepted that it was not an okay thing to tweet. He has apologized, and there will be an internal disciplinary process of some sort. There could have been a sanction. He, for example, might have been made to go and do a weekend in a prison or something by way of community service, just to show that it was being taken seriously. This is completely over the top.
We'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Always very insightful marketing and communication strategist, Clive Simpkins.
News that moves. eNCA.com.